Scott here from Harpeth Guitar Restoration, Nashville, Tennessee. I've got a Yamaha FG-300 with a pickguard that's kind of... I left the strings on it for now so I could use the paper towels to kind of catch the water. I'm putting in a little bit of water down in here where the pickguard's still stuck on. This is kind of an irreplaceable pickguard, so don't want to damage it. I got to be really careful with that. Sure been getting a lot of Yamahas lately too. The FG-300 just got a whole fret job and neck reset. New bridge, new nut. Also had a big old damaged area down here where it got dropped, which I've filled in, and all I have to do is a little sanding up to about 2000 grit and a little polishing, and that'll be all good to go. Anyways, back to this pickguard. I got the heat lamp right there. I'm just kind of warming things up. I'm not getting it super duper hot. It's pretty far away. It's about 2 feet away. Let's see if this knife gets in there a little bit. I could heat the knife up a little bit. Put it right down there next to the heat lamp. It gets hot pretty quick. And I'll see if that helps. Cut through that glue. Yeah. I can see right through this pickguard. Let's see. It's going to come off here pretty quick. It's got that water in there. It still wants to hang on, so I'm going to be real patient. That pickguard popped right off there just a few seconds after I stopped the video. It's pretty flat. It just has this kind of up bow to it over here on this side, but I think what I'll do when I'll put in a little bit of like fish glue, I think. Up here, it's kind of curled up on this end, and it's a little curled up over here. So I'm gonna put a little fish glue like on these 4 points, clamp it, use 4 different clamps from inside and clamp it, and keep it clamped for about 12 hours when I'm ready. I think I'll get the guitar, the other things done in the meantime, and I'll be back. This is this headstock binding repair I was talking about. It's come loose and it's got a missing part. So I mixed up some white shellac based primer with about 2 drops of vintage amber, which is a pretty good match for old aged binding. But first I need to get this existing binding to stick down on there a little bit, and I'm going to use this bind-all, which is for binding. It's a binding glue that dries really quick. So I'll just get a little bit on there. I'm going to work real fast with a razor blade. It develops a skin on it real fast. And then I got this binding tape. It'll hold it on there. Then I can get some of the excess off before it hardens. It does harden pretty hard, so I help myself out by. I need a second razor blade for this job. This is some delicate work right here. can see it squeeze out a little bit there. Now this razor blade's toast. I'm gonna just throw it away or whatever. Get a new one. Alright, so this razor blade's toast. I'm going to get rid of it and wait for that. It only takes a few minutes, actually. Then I think I'm going to go in there with this vintage amber dyed white shellac. Here's another little quick cosmetic repair I can do while that binding glue dries is a lot of guitars get dropped on their head or something and they got this where the stain is gone. And I've got a little Kalamazoo brown and a little shellac with a little bit of denatured alcohol. I just paint it on. This brush sucks. I need some good brushes. So it just, you know, the bare wood kind of disappears. After a few coats, it actually look just right. And again, shellac is alcohol based, so just sitting around in a room or, you know, wipe, if you get your palm of your hand on there or whatever, it should not wipe off. Unless you're really toxic skin. The other thing I was doing on the back of this headstock was some of the tuners have come loose, and I'm using the old tight bond glue with bamboo toothpicks to fill in the old holes. And I really love these tuners. They're vintage Yamaha. They're really cool. They have these little covers that go on a little machine screw that goes in to that little hole right there. And they're just really smooth. They're nice quality. Wish I could find some. Here's a little glimpse of how that binding tape comes in a roll. It's kind of stretchy and it's really kind of neat for when you need to clamp something down but you can't get a clamp over it. Right, so those bamboo toothpicks have been in there overnight, and I'm not real good with these are fret nipping tools. I guess this is, I've never really realized how easy this could be until you scratch the guitar up. You take a chisel, really get it. My chiseling skills aren't that great at 6 a.m. in the morning, but you can get a chisel in there and get it nice and smooth, and then re-drill the hole, and the tuners will be nice and not going to be all wobbly anymore. Probably never chisel towards your body, you know. But this is a micro chisel, and it probably won't cause too much harm if it goes directly into my aorta. Oh, the other little trick I was using today, I have a guitar vise down in my garage shop, but when I'm up here and I want to hold something down, I use this 25-pound bag of lead shot. Barely move the guitar with this dead old 25-pounder sitting on it. That is really nice, actually, if you want like a portable kind of shop where you want to cradle a neck, maybe hammer in some frets right on there on that bag of lead shot. You can get it at the ammo supply store or the pawn shop, probably, I don't know, anywhere where you pack your own muzzles. I can notice there's a little chip in the lacquer or urethane right there. So I mixed up my my shellac with vintage amber, Let's see how this looks. May as well just see how it blends. And if it doesn't cut the mustard, if it does blend in good, I'm gonna just fill in this area with thick super glue, and I'll fix that little chip on the headstock face, the peghead veneer, while I'm at it. But if 2 coats of this look like crap, I'll lay in some real plastic binding material. But so far, as far as my naked eye can see, actually I can't see anything with my naked eye, but with my glasses on, I think this is going to cut the mustard. Yeah, I've got it kind of masked off and taped up with that binding tape, and I'm going to drop in some thick super glue. I'm using the thick because it builds up pretty quick. A lot of bubbles. Accelerator. Just a little accelerator. And then I'll take the tape off the front after it hardens, and I'll fill in that little void. There's a little void underneath that tape. I'll get to that in a sec. Alright, here we are the next day. It's been overnight. I did not use tape. Turned out that this Pickguard's really translucent. It's see-through. I didn't want to see any pieces of tape because the double-sided tape that I have it's a bit it's small, like Scotch tape size, and I didn't want to end up seeing it through the Pickguard, so I just used a big variety of clamp sizes. We'll see if it held. Some of the times you have to put a little block of wood to span over the bracing that's inside here. This piece of wood, I just taped it on with double-sided Scotch tape, or not double-sided, one of those Scotch tape rings. That's what I used to do when I put my KISS posters on the wall as a kid. Alright, well, these magnets work really good. The magnets are quick and easy way to clamp. Span right over the binding braces, and man, they're strong. I love those things. It's really good to line the little cauls with cork, especially if you're going right on top of the tone wood. Alright, there it is. After all these years, it's glued on. I've got a little scraping to do to get some of that squeeze out. I think if I wait a day or two, the glue gets real brittle and it chips right off. So, alright. Well, I'm going to put this neck back in a clamp, try to get it to go into a bit of a back bow, and leave it sit all day. Other repairs coming around too. That binding repair. It's been super glued, but I haven't scraped it. I'll do that right now. Here's that 25-pound bag of lead shot again. I got it sitting on the guitar neck to hold it steady. I got some razor blades here for scraping. Here's the super glue repair right there. If you clamp or put the razor blade in a vise and clamp it down really tight, you can put the screwdriver in there and pop the edge off of it. That way, the idea is to scrape it. You don't want to let this edge hit. So what I do is I take the side off of it and bend it to a convex shape. That way when I'm scraping, it only hits where I want it to. First I like to hit it with some 320 just to knock the edge off a little bit and see where the high spots are. And I'll take the razor blade, convex shape, give it a few scrapes, see where we're at. Now I can move up to 400. I like to go in 4 directions. I do an X, I do a cross, and then I do it this way. So I do kind of an X, across, and forward. That seems to level it the best. Then I give it a little scrape. The other thing I do with the razor blade is I burnish the edge slightly on a piece of cast iron. Meaning this side has a little edge on it. So I take it this way and I drag it across a piece of iron like this. And it puts that edge over here, and I put the date on the razor blade so I know which one's the newest. And I get to work. That was 400. This is 600. I go cross. I go this way. I end with going this way. It's almost getting polished like now. Now I'm up to scraping again. And do some 800. Pretty good. I can move up to wet sanding it. I got wet sandpaper here. And I basically do the same thing. I'm going to wet sand that, give it a little polish. We'll see what it looks like. The last thing I wanted to talk about in this video is this Nippon Gaki factory in Japan. I don't know what year this is, but they were using this really soft lacquer finish, or something's gone on with this finish over time. I just sanded that with 7000 grit, and this lacquer is so soft, it really reacts to everything I've tried on it. It gets all milky white real quick, and there's a lot of paint spots all over the body. Headstock's not that bad, but the body has, like, you know, it was just sitting on the stand in a room where they were painting the walls, and there's just a billion little specks of wall paint all over it. And that paint doesn't just come off when you put on guitar polish. It kind of just blends right into the lacquer. It's like the lacquer is absorbing everything. Did you see how weird that just got? So I've tried a bunch of different stuff. I'm very apprehensive about this lacquer. It's very soft. I've never seen anything as reactive as it in my life that I can recall. So I've settled on 7,000 wet sanded with a little bit of guitar polish. That's it. The 7,000 gets those little paint chips off, paint specks off of the body, and then the guitar polish really shines it up. When I do polishing, I do that same pattern. I go across, opposite direction, I go this way, and I go that way. I could just take these tuners back off, but I already had them off to repair the screw holes, and I put them back on, so I don't want to take them off again. It's okay to polish a headstock without taking Yamaha FG-300.